Welcome to That Davis Show. My name is Kenneth Davis. Please follow me at That's Davis on all social media platforms. Always fortunate enough to be joined by executive producer and partner in crime, Ryan Bukoveski. Follow him at Ryan Beesky and Ryan Beesky1 on Instagram. Ryan, how are you doing? You got a lot going on. We're not doing for anybody else, so we're not going to bring you a ton of NFL draft stuff because Mr. Selfish over here is going to be out of town.
Oh, what? What was it? Wasn't I saying? End of the day, the show comes first. I'll make time.
This is for the audience, all right? Me personally, I want you to live your life.
Bus tossing.
Yes, this is for the audience. I mean, definitely. I want you to live your life. I want you to go and do things and be a young man out in the world. So for real, do you? But if I don't bust, you know what? It's how close are we? If there's none being bust, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
So Ryan, where you go? Let everybody know where you're going. Well, no, you don't. I forgot. You may not. You told me that some things can't come here anymore. So maybe I'm just messing up all across the board here now. All right.
No, you're safe so far. You've saved yourself. Good job. You pulled the U-turn right at the right time. Right before the accident. Pulled into it. Yeah, there it is. Tokyo drifted. Right.
So anyway, we'll get out of Ryan's business. And we'll jump straight into sports. And jumping straight into sports, I usually, if this was pro wrestling, you know where I'd be coming from. And it'd be...
Taking it from the top. Tippy. People.
Sing it, daddy.
Sing it, daddy. Off that top rope with the elbow. Listen.
Ooh. You're about to throw down the elbow right now.
I was watching Get Up on ESPN this morning with a segment that had Mike Greenberg, Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Rose. I can't remember who else may have been in the segment. But watching them talk, they got on the MVP discussion. They start talking about Joel Embiid. And Stephen A. Smith had said something in reference to he's my pick. But how he said it, it made it seem like the MVP voting had been finished and they knew, and it was both of them, Greeny and Stephen A., who the MVP was. And it caught, and I'm sorry I don't remember exactly what they said, right? But what caught my attention and what I started to think about is whoever's the MVP, I don't know if the MVP comes out. It has to come out. It comes out like in the next week, because it's before the first round. It's either right after the first round. Maybe that's what I'm missing. It's like, because I'm thinking about Dirk when he was the MVP and got kicked out the first round. Who else recently? Somebody in like the last decade, I believe, may have been the MVP and kicked out the first round.
Sure, but it was LeBron.
It was right after the first round. I think I remember. All right, well, right around the end of the first round.
Well,
so
if you count last year, it was around June 8th.
June 8th.
Usually the award
But you know what? No, it's changed because they have that award ceremony now.
Well, they're saying the NBA usually announces the winner of the MVP at the end of June. Through this date is by no means set in stone.
Okay. See, the only thing why I'm hesitant on that, because now the NBA has the award ceremony the last 2 years, and before they would just have it to where, you know, you would have and that's not saying you still wouldn't be in your state. But anyway, to get to the point, the MVP knows that he's the MVP a week, if not weeks prior to us knowing, right? So that's what made me think, hold up. And that's what made me think how they were saying it, that Joker, all right, Djokovic with Denver, had perhaps won his second MVP. Now, I know statistically his season is crazy, but if you're telling me that, and I know he didn't have Murray for majority of the season, and I know he didn't have Michael Porter Jr. for a large chunk of the season, but Joel Embiid didn't have Ben Simmons and had to put up with talking about Ben Simmons, right? I mean, he carried that team until what? He had 20-something games with James Harden, and he still carried that three-point dog. That's a center. And we're not talking about like Jack Sigma. We're not talking about a guy that's like known like Dirk. And I know Dirk wasn't a center, but you get what I mean. Like, oh, that's his trait. That's what he does. We're talking about a guy that, yes, he shoots, but goes down there, bangs bodies, crosses fools over. That was a center hitting a turnaround three to end OT. All right. You know how crazy that is? If you're telling me, I'm telling you, listen, NBA, I know you couldn't fix it. If that man isn't the MVP, y'all doing something wrong. The two gentlemen that have won MVP prior to this, as far as Joker and Giannis, listen, phenomenal seasons, but they didn't do anything to a degree where it was like, oh, their team won and was off the chain, or statistically. And I know Joker's year looks better than last year if you look at analytics, so on and so forth. But forget that. I'm talking about in the rougher conference, which is the Eastern Conference as of right now. Joel Embiid, basically by himself, kept the Sixers in it when majority of us thought their season was done at the beginning of the year because they only had one star instead of two, quote unquote, depending on how you feel about me using star referencing Ben Simmons. So that is my off top. If that man is an MVP, I'm going to be upset because clearly if all three of them were the finalists, he's done the most this year and won the most this year alone compared to, and I know the big quote unquote three in Milwaukee weren't with each other healthy, but they still had each other. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing, because what Joel Embiid did, that three, first of all, 3 zip, and James Harden is straight. Listen, I always loved Maxey coming out of, because he came out of Kentucky, right? I believe Tyrese Maxey's
I'll double check.
I believe Tyrese Maxey, because I remember watching him at Kentucky and thinking like, okay, is he a point? He's a combo guard, but I like his moxie.
Yes, Kentucky.
I liked his moxie, and I was like, that's gonna translate. When they got him, I was like, that's a nice little get right there, because I think I didn't know Maxey was gonna be this. I'll tell you that right now. All right, I didn't know he was going to play well enough majority of the season to be the star next to Joel Embiid that he needed, while Joel Embiid was leading the league in scoring as a center the first time since Shaquille O'Neal. All right, stop. Tell me about analytics. He led the league in scoring in the rougher conference, basically, as far as what we knew at the beginning of the year, alone. All right, so that man right there, in my opinion, should be the 2022 MVP of the 2021-22 MVP of the NBA, Joel Embiid of the 76ers. 3 zip, all right, 3 zip on Toronto. I mean, not to say that I was looking at Toronto as being able to really do something, but I thought they'd win a game. Now, they still have a chance to win a game, but I thought they'd win a game and not get swept, all right, in the 6. Y'all what? The king of the North, my ass. So I just wanted to bring that here, all right, because when I saw it,
was very well said.
I could be totally wrong. I could just be blowing smoke. But how
I would only add on that, Joker's already won one. You're going to make him a rare 2-time MVP over Joel Embiid. That's
people
a little
would say
ridiculous.
Giannis just did it twice a year before. I'm with you, though.
I mean, Giannis, I'm okay with that. Like, that dude won a title. Let that man have his MVPs. I'm fine with that. Joker ain't winning no titles.
Right.
He's not winning any titles anytime soon. He's not even been the best team in the West yet.
Until he gets traded to the Bulls. But anyway.
Yeah.
So
he'll be the king of the East. That's what.
And we'll get to the Bulls too. And also,
by the way, just a little side thing. How many really underrated, really good Kentucky players have there been while they haven't won anything? When you look at like Maxey, Tyler Hero, even Bam Adebayo, some of these guys. Like,
listen,
hey.
let me go. I saw Greenberg. I forget the coach Greenberg that used to coach. I forget what team he used to coach, but he works for ESPN, right? I apologize for not. I know it's not. No,
give me
Dan, we're good. You know who I'm talking about. He went into, because we know Jay Wright retired from Villanova. And this could be right. That Jay Wright retired because of the NIL, name, image, and likeness, and that basically you're paying players up front. Who gives a fuck? Like I'm supposed to weep because Jay Wright, terrific coach. I'm not taking a shot at Jay Wright. Coach K and Jay Wright don't want to battle in the Wild Wild West because the kids are getting paid. The school, remind you, the schools still aren't paying them though, right? The schools still aren't paying them, but these coaches who can pick up and leave when they want to have $1 million contracts and shoe deals, right? It's so unfair to them. Oh no, shut the fuck up. All right, and I'm not saying it to that gentleman that like that, you know what I'm saying? Because he seems like a decent older gentleman. I'm not saying it to him in particularly, but to the people that feel like it's something wrong with the people that are putting in work actually being compensated for it. And the reason I bring it up is to get back to what you just said about Kentucky, because I was having this debate in my head. Listen, for everybody thinking college basketball is going to be over, no, it's not. You're just going to find people that know how to work it. And you know who knew how to work it before all these other coaches want to go one and done like Coach K? Coach Cal. Calipari is about to be back up. All right, because just like you said, he's still been getting good recruits. Now watch what he's going to be getting, right? Especially when, all right, there's only going to be some kids coming to college, right? What brands are, think about this. Duke has a strong brand, but the man that made the brand is gone.
Right. Kentucky's has just continued on.
Kentucky is Kentucky, and they got Coach Cal. I think when all this really starts to change, when the one and done is done, I think Calipari is going to be able to really get back into how he was running college basketball for about 7-8 years before Coach K started. Coach K at first, I refuse to get dirty with the one and dones, and then was like, I want to get back to when Nike was like, hey. You're gonna get back to winning, right? He was like, okay, Nike, okay. I just wanted to put that right there for my off top with a little bit of heat. All right, for the
good heat. That was like that spicy kind of like towards a 10, maybe not a 10, but you feel the spice. And
Can I ask you a
you're
question?
Not fighting it. Yeah.
So let's just say Wingstop, right? Mm-hmm. What's your go-to wing at Wingstop?
Mango hot.
We say what? Mango hot?
Yeah, mango habanero.
It's the sweet on it that
I know.
It's sweet.
Not my favorite.
And I'm not a sweet meat guy. So mine's is Cajun, but I'll do Atomic. I'll get some Atomic with my Cajun, but lately just because it costs more to have two different flavors, it's just like just give me all Cajun because I like my wings hot. All right, so I just get
Cajun.
Try the Cajun one. Try it because it's.
By the way, I told you about the hot and juicy crawfish boil that I was going to, right?
Yeah. No, did you went to or you going to?
That I went to.
Yeah. Okay. You just said going to. That's why I said that.
I maybe.
But you got sick though, didn't you?
No. I went back again with the lactose pills, and it was perfecto.
But why would you do that if you had to bring? Wait. Why? How is lactose pills benefiting you in that situation? It's milk and it's some type of cream in the broil.
They have the flavorings, but they're like known for the combination. It's been featured on like Food Network programs or whatever. So I had to try it. Like we've talked about this, right? Like we go to a new restaurant. I want it like done the way that you're like known for. You're famous,
right.
Like. I want the live crawfish in your like Food Network famous sauce, and I'll go from there. But within that is like a butter, some other kind of like maybe it was garlic.
Oh, so it's the dairy. I'm sorry when I said lactose, I forgot the dairy from the butter. All right, I got you.
All those sauces combined, it's like Cajun with it too, and a few others, like delicious, unbelievable.
I just couldn't. I've never had to take a pill so I could eat something. I'd rather just not take it. I'd just rather not eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
yeah. I mean, I could eat it if I probably got just like Cajun, and I might try that. Because, like, if they don't use butter or anything, that's fine.
Are you lactose intolerant?
It's like to a certain degree, not too bad. But if I have too much dairy, then it really messes with me.
Okay.
But if like, all you got to do is take the pills. It's like just 2 pills before, 2 pills after, you're good.
You got to take 4 pills to eat that stuff?
Well, just in case. I went overboard because I was I got sick first time. Big time sick.
Why? You just leave it alone, bro. Just let it be.
No.
All right.
No.
All right.
That's impossible.
Anyway, back to the hoops.
Yeah, that's your phone disagreeing right there.
No, it's time for me to give Kelsey her medicine. So back to the hoops, though. Listen, the NBA, and even with some of these teams, first of all, Boston. I didn't know. I feared because listen. If Boston gets Robert Williams back, it's a wrap in the East, y'all. All right, like the only thing that kind of knocked them down, in my opinion, was Robert Williams and the type of help defense. That man is crazy with his help defense. All right. And I was talking to Tony. I remember Danny Ainge taking a swing on him and him kind of having the label of being a knucklehead. And I think he either missed a flight or something in the ball. This was like at the beginning of his career. And to see the fact that he became this player, man, Danny Ainge, boy, sometimes he messes up. But you think about that Tatum, him getting Tatum at 3 in that draft with Ball and with Fultz. And
I will never understand that. Like, to me, that was the most slam dunk. Jason Tatum's the best prospect, and you take him number 1. Like, I was shocked.
My thing with Jason Tatum in drafting him was he's right there at the crucible of part of the NBA changing to where it's like he ain't got no meat on his ass, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was still coming to grips with that. It didn't matter anymore for the most part, right? Okay. So that's why with me, it was kind of like, okay, how much is he really going to be able to get to the hoop?
That's still an issue.
But the dude is, first of all, not even just offensive, defensively, all right, being a playmaker. I mean, I never thought, I always thought, well, somebody's got to go between Tatum, and it would be Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown is a phenomenal two-way player too. But I never got one of them had to go because my first thought was as soon as you trade one, you're going to be looking for the same type of player. You better figure out how to get them to work together because that's all the league. Get 2 dominant perimeter players that can go both ways, and you have Marcus Smart willing to do the dirty work. That team.
Some front court pieces that you mentioned earlier.
Udoka is coaching his ass off. I mean,
I really like him. I was excited when the Bulls were looking at him. I mean, totally understand the Billy Donovan hire, but he was one of my favorite. I think the favorite that I wanted.
And it would have been nice to see Nia Long at Bulls games. Even though I haven't seen her at a Boston Celtics game, but I don't know. I'm just not getting enough Celtics games.
Well, aren't they known for their racism there? Isn't that part of the thing? Like,
stay home, baby.
Maybe you don't really want to go to them, you know?
You know this is Boston, all right? They torched Bill Russell's crib, all right? Yeah, Bill Russell's. Yeah, Bill Russell's. I know, right? Crazy, right? It's ridiculous, right?
Insane.
Yeah. They did that.
Oh, my God.
They did that, right?
Thanks for the 10 championships, you fucker.
No, I think probably by that time it may have just been about 5 or 6, maybe. Because I believe he
Thanks for the Jordan, you piece of shit.
Exactly, the Jordan. Before Jordan was in, thanks for the Jordan, you asshole. Like, God damn. But that Boston
Jordan's
team,
greatness is all over the place.
That Boston team and what they're doing to the Nets. And I mean, I think KD's just off right now. I mean, because he's still one of the greatest players ever. 2
points in the second half? I didn't even think that was possible from KD.
But dude, look at their perimeter. But no, without even Robert Williams, but think about their perimeter. You got Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart.
I'm not saying they're not doing a phenomenal job, but
flying around. I'm with you. I think some of it's them, but I think he's just not right now. I have to believe that because
it's got to be mentally not right.
Kevin Durant. Yeah,
physically, right?
Yeah, something where it's just, sometimes you have a bad series. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan didn't have that first finals back versus Seattle. Jordan didn't have a great series. He had a straight series for Jordan. I mean, that is for Michael Jordan. Now I'll tell you who had a great series that year. Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp was dunking with Dennis Rodman wrapped around him like Dennis Rodman was nothing but a rag doll. All right. Anyway, while I'm reminiscing, but still going through the East, man, and just looking at the teams, and of course, we're going to talk about our bullies towards the end of the show and talk about that performance yesterday. But just thinking about what the 76ers, thinking about the Grizzlies and Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Where, man, I didn't know Minnesota was going to be able to take one. I think the Grizzlies is about to put their asses in the dirt now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking
looking at what Miami is out there doing to Atlanta. Atlanta gonna have to figure out what they're gonna have to do.
Yeah, they gotta change it up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard when listen, Trae Young is a phenomenal. When the Bulls drafted Wendell Carter Jr., I was on a sports show here in Chicago. Like, I want to be entertained. Bring me Trae Young. Forget it. I know he's not going to be defensive. Defensively, he's going to be worthless. But if the kid can lead the NCAAs in scoring and assists, perhaps it may translate to the pros. All right.
Right.
So, but when you have that figure, it kind of takes a minute to really know. They know something. They know that, we got to have lob guys and stuff like that to really figure out how to get it going. And still, it's hard for a smaller player consistently to be able to pull it off all the damn time. So I have no faith, even though that guy, he was my dark horse 2 years ago to perhaps be MVP last year. So I was totally wrong. But
he needs different guys around him. I think like they need some really defensive guys that can help him in
some 3-and-D guys.
Yeah, and some guys that are really good at movement without the ball that he can find, slashing, especially if they got some size specifically. That would be the opener up for the Hawks. But like when they're playing this small ball with like. I'm blanking on the guy's name. We always talked about him going to the Milwaukee Bucks. That's over there with the Hawks.
Oh yeah, we're both going to blank on that. But
it's like all the pieces seem to just kind of be off. Like
is it Bogdanovich? Is it Bogdanovich?
Bogdanovich, yes.
Bogdanovich. I still think like, damn, if he was on the Bucks, they'd be so much.
Yeah.
Listen, every time he see him, I'm like, damn, man, if he was on the Bucks, boy, they had a whip. Every time I see him, I'm rooting for the Bucks. I'm like, damn it, what the hell?
I'm with you. They would have. Oh, but what do you think about some of the Western stuff? Like Devin Booker, Dunzo for 2 to 3 weeks. It looks like.
Dude, that's gonna look. Well, I think.
Are we sure the Pels can't win that?
Yeah, I think they're not gonna beat Chris Paul, man. Bogdan Bogdanovich is his name. Yeah, I think if Chris Paul is healthy, they getting out of that one. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well,
one.
I think Chris Paul's never healthy, but they could still win the series.
Went to the finals,
but he's also been very disappointing in the finals overall, or not in the finals. I'm sorry, the playoffs in his career. I mean, it's not like Chris Paul hasn't blown a series that he should win.
Okay, but let's just go off Chris Paul with the Suns, though. Chris Paul has done anything the Suns have needed him to do. Look at that game last week.
I would argue just game 6 at the end. He was doing nothing to help Devin Booker against those Bucks. He was just deferring every time.
Dude, didn't he have one shoulder?
Like probably, but that's my point. That's why I said, is he healthy? He's never healthy.
He had it. But my point was, if he stays healthy this series, I think they can get past the Pels.
Yeah. I think they. Well, I think I'm more so saying I think the Pelicans can really win this series. Like not just like a 10%, 20%. I think it's kind of 50-50 lean in Pels because I think Brandon Ingram is the best player right now.
I totally disagree. Brandon Ingram is the best scorer. I would still say to a degree, Chris Paul is the best player in that series with Booker being gone. All right. The things that Chris Paul can do. Listen, I wouldn't sign DeAndre Ayton to nothing if Chris Paul ain't going to be on the team. All right. Like it's not happening.
For real.
Chris, how long you staying? You said you want a 4-year deal, right? Chris, you going to be around 4 more years? I'm not
do we get that player opt or what? I got to make sure. I'm writing up the contract right now.
Like this, like Chris, you're gonna be on the coach. You're gonna be in the front office after this, right? Because his Svengaliness of this is dog. He's old as dirt, and it's never like it wasn't like he used to be Baron Davis. And we're like, remember when Chris Paul was dunking on that AK-47 and all? Like it ain't that, right? Like. How is he doing this, right? I mean, it just shows you what a skill and IQ really can do, particularly in this NBA. Always in the NBA, but in this NBA where, to a degree, athleticism is minimized. You know what I'm saying? Like if you thought nowadays, if you told me I could have a freaky athlete or a guy with a high IQ and high skilled, I'm taking the high IQ, high skilled guy all the time. When I was a kid, give me the freakiest, deakiest guy that you could perhaps put out there, right?
Okay, I don't want to make it seem like Chris Paul.
And I'm not saying that about Brandon Ingram.
Player.
I'm not saying that about Brandon Ingram either. That because Brandon Ingram is hella skilled. That's not a knock on Brandon Ingram.
No, we're just talking about the only two players that are in the discussion, and it's definitely close in my mind. It's not like I'm saying slam dunk Brandon Ingram. I just have no faith right now in Chris Paul. I feel like him in the playoffs, he's just kiboshed.
No, but see, the thing is,
and I'm not even saying anything wrong with him. Even I just feel like the Devin Booker thing being unfortunate, like him losing like Blake Griffin and stuff in the past, like just seems like something always happens to Chris Paul.
But last year it happened and he came back. My only point is this: I don't think it's close.
It's happened.
I don't think it's and then remember what Giannis did. Giannis was like, I ain't going 7. Giannis knew in his heart, I cannot risk going 7.
Yes.
I'm not going. I need
to win this game. I need to win winning it right now.
I'm out of here, right? Like
DeAndre, nothing, Ayton.
Right. So to me again, though, I don't think the series is as close. And you said you were leaning the Pels way. I would have went that the series was 20-80. The Suns. No, I'm gonna go. Forget that. I'm lying. 10-90 Suns. All right. I would have said before Booker got hurt. Now I'll say
you could say 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we're huge Suns guys. Now though, I would say I would give the Pels 30%, a 30% chance. You know what I'm saying? But also, if Big Boy was out there playing healthy, I would favor them.
Yeah, for real.
But
it's clear for 5-on-5 against the closed dark room where they don't play basketball. Actually,
I'm gonna tell the Pelicans what you need to do, David Griffin. What you need to do: get Shorty healthy for the last game of the series that y'all gonna get your ass beat. Right, for real. Get him out there. Let him go off that one game. Then trade his ass to the best bidder. I listen. I always felt this reminded me, and they're not the same as I used a reference close to me. I wanted, and this was wrong, Jay Williams over Yao Ming. I never really had a point guard centric team.
I was the same way.
And I was like, yeah, that Yao stuff seems cool and all, but that seems boring. Clearly, if the Bulls had the chance to get Yao Ming, they should have got Yao Ming, right? And I mean, we hadn't really seen Yao, and we didn't know how Yao was going to translate to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So add that on top of it. If I knew Yao was going to do what he did and matching up against older Shaq, but still a good older Shaq, I would have been Yao all day. But I wanted Jay Williams. The reason I bring that up, in that draft with Zion Williamson and Ja Morant, I was like, yeah, I guess you have to kind of take Zion, but I think you got to go with Ja because Zion's never going to be healthy, y'all. It's impossible, dude. Unless that dude unless he gets down to 240,
yeah,
right. Unless he gets down to, and he had to totally change everything for that to have a chance to where it's too freaky and it's too heavy. You're not supposed to be built like that, being able to fly like that. You're not.
Right.
Too much torque on his whole frame. He's too freaky to be that big. That's just it, right? And you look at Ja, and my worry with Ja was, this could be another Derek situation because he's reckless in a great way, reckless abandon. But even with that,
he can shoot though. Compared,
that's what I was just about to say. And he's a playmaker. So even
the core vision.
Even Ja, less athletic, he's still going to be a stud. And also, he's a go-getter. He's a tough SOB, right?
Yes.
So I was
Zion's not showing that so much.
I was like, I don't think I want to be with Ja because that I just did. I just tell someone else like, you got a shooting guard center. Like that's basically what he's going to be, Zion. And it brings me back. Last part. It brings me back to me finally when I remember the first time I saw Kevin Ducati. In a McDonald's All-American game. Of course, I was just watching it one night, and I just said I saw the name DU, and at this time I was into motorcycles, and I'm talking about Kevin Durant, and I remember thinking like, oh my goodness, what the hell is this McGrady-esque type of thing that's happening, right? And I remember that year at Texas. Then, of course, we all saw Greg Oden and Mike Conley at Ohio State.
That's so funny.
Matched
I
up
was just texting about all these players like the other day, these drafts. Like, it's so weird that this is coming up.
Matching up against one of my favorite, probably one of my last favorite college teams that I really care for, and that Florida team with Horford, Noah, Brewer, and Green.
I actually rooted for that Greg Oden, Ohio State.
Oh,
I don't know why.
I wasn't.
And
listen, Greg Oden.
I was into Greg Oden.
He housed them, right? Like
Yes, he did. Yes, that's what I said. That is what I said when I was texting about it. He almost took them down.
Oh, he was on their ass, man. He was on their ass, right?
But I remember pulled it.
I remember talking to my buddy then, and it was like, well, who do you take? And I'm like, I think you got to go with the big. But it's like, Durant is so free. Like, it was like, I mean,
remember what you said earlier, that like thinner, like smaller NBA type. I was very worried about that with Kevin Durant when that.
But see, the thing with Durant to me was the fact of his handle and the fact that it was like, I mean, of course, I want a guy that's a perimeter player to be able to penetrate, but it was his skill set was it was just too crazy. I mean, it was like Shawty could do whatever he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
yeah, I think I underscouted him for sure.
Right. It was like it was too crazy. It was too, because even compared to Jason Tatum, like Tatum is even prior to injury, Tatum I don't think is as laterally quick as Kevin Durant used to be. I think Kevin Durant still is, but how he used to be, and he was like, he's more of your traditional tweener 3-4, where Durant's your tweener from 2 to 3. I mean 2 to 4, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like
that makes sense.
That was the thing where it was like, because it was like kind of like he's shooting guard. So it's not like I'm asking him to bang all the time. But getting back to the point you made about me earlier about how the NBA has changed over the last 15 years or whatever. But all the way, because this is taking us so far away from the Pels and the Suns, I just totally disagree with you. I'm still going. You're disrespecting Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards of all time.
I just think he's cursed. That's all. He's not disrespectful.
Listen, if he can get back Booker, and Booker's healthy, the only problem is
he's got to get out of this series. That's my
Golden State. He'll get out of the series. He'll get out of the series. Believe you me. Book it right here. He'll get out of the series. Golden State, though. What? Like what? How much? Like, who's scouting over there, man? Like, come on, Bob. Like, what the heck? Listen, can I get some?
They just waltz right into the finals, basically.
Dude, like, oh my God, Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And I mean, we've known this all year. Jordan Poole has been snapping.
But when you got Steph healthy, and then Clay's there, and then you throw in Jordan Poole, and you got this combo freaky center thing, it works really well. Well, I was texting a friend of mine just saying how much I'm anticipating. Like, he was asking, what are you looking forward to in the playoffs? How much I was anticipating the Suns versus the Warriors. At full strength, it seemed like both sides, like that was going to be a matchup, and that was going to be fun. And I love, like, Monty Williams is one of my favorite coaches in the league.
Oh,
like, he is just
so
good.
I've loved him since Notre Dame and him having heart surgery. And we don't even have to go into the tragedies that he's experienced over the last several years. But still, I've always been a Monty Williams guy. So I always root for Monty Williams and his family. So I'm with you.
But just like how him as a tactician versus Steve Kerr, tactician, those coaching staffs, the analytics that they use, like, it would have been an interesting chess matchup with everybody at full strength.
Right.
And we're just getting robbed of that I guess we'll see.
So what about the Mavs and the Jazz? What's like that? That's like
Wake Me. That's like that Green Day song. Wake me up when Doncic arrives, or when it never ends, or whatever.
Wake me up when Doncic arrives. Totally. Like first, The worst part about that series is that we don't expect either one of those teams to go extremely deep. That whole bloom that was once on the Jazz is totally gone now. That missed opportunity 2 seasons ago.
Who's the number 2? Who's the real number 2 with the Jazz?
What Clarkson?
Let's say his Clarkson and Mitchell. Is that a good enough 1-2 to really win? Because the Frenchman, he's not going to be able to help you there. He's really a one-trick pony in my mind.
Right. So, especially in today's NBA, where they can scheme your ass up out of everything as far as pulling the center out. Like, it's...
Like, look at I know we're going to talk about it either right now or in a little bit, but the Bulls game against the Bucks, I thought just like one of the best parts was the fourth quarter when Billy Donovan had to take out Vooch after 5 fouls, and Milwaukee immediately switched how they were playing. They were like, oh, that dude, number 5, let's say, the center, whatever, he's open on the pick. Yeah, we'll leave him wide open. We're going to double up on DeRozan and Levine. Billy immediately put Vooch right back in, and it was like, okay, we can't double him. So I just think of the same thing with the Frenchman in the Utah Jazz. Like, he's just never going to help you with anything. If you can double up on whoever you want. Like, what's he going to do? If you can keep him just not dunking, you win.
Dude, you know damn well Danny Eggs is sitting there like, he's not defensively as great as you, and he can be scatterbrained. Mm-hmm. But I got Wiseman behind you. I can move you and still have a decent 5 up in there.
Right.
Rim protector blocking shots if Wiseman keeps his head on right. Yeah, I'm with you. And then the whole thing, I'm interested in seeing what Danny Ainge does with that team moving forward, and will Donovan Mitchell ask to get traded up out of there? But did you just said the Bulls? And let's get to the Bulls, man. Let's get to the team here. That victory last night, that was woof. I mean, listen, both of these, outside of the first quarter and a half of the first game, these games have been somewhat close. But you knew the first game that the Bulls weren't really going to win it. During this game, you was like, man, I think the Bulls can win this damn game, right? I loved, and I want to use somebody that we always disrespect around here. Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine clearly is not right. And during contact, he's not somebody that's a high flyer in contact. But you could just see sometimes with him being kind of anchored to the ground that's not Zach being as explosive as Zach. I love the fact, and I wish the Bulls would have done this more. Listen, if the Milwaukee Bucks are going to go small and play Giannis at 5, go into his body. Because I love Giannis to death, but he ain't thick in his thighs. You know what I'm saying? Go into his body. If you can get into his body and get over his arms, I don't even care if you score as much as get those fouls on his ass to get him up out of the game. That game, Kobe White with playing with moxie. Like the confidence level, I don't know if it was Ayo coming there. I don't know if it was being with a good coach in year 2 and also a good front office that may have a better situation of helping train you up. But like just even like that stutter step he did in the first game where he was coming down, like Kobe White is playing like he knows what he's doing. In his rookie year, sometimes.
How about Pat Williams in game 2? He stood out with me when you said moxie. That was the name that came to mind with me from Pat Williams. I mean, He didn't score a ton, but like he had that defense, the rebounding, and I felt 9 like rebounds, he was trying to be aggressive.
3 assists. He went 5 of 9. He went 0 for 2 from 3. 9 rebounds. Listen, if you get 10 and 9,
but it was like it was also how he did it. Like he was trying to be aggressive. It wasn't.
I'm with you.
Deferring or just waiting for something wide open. Even though Caruso found him on that sick-ass dunk late in the game.
Listen, what the fuck is wrong with the Lakers? LeBron James, sir. Like, I mean, you're LeBron James. You should know you need that.
Whoops. Big whoops.
Like, why in the world, out of everything y'all was doing, why would y'all think letting him go was the best thing to do with what the hell? Look, 2 players on the Bulls should be Lakers now, and that's DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso. Oh my goodness, how much better!
Oh my God, Vooch had a great game. Zach was, solid. You could say great, whatever. Pat Williams we highlighted, Kobe White, but really, I think the 2 MVPs are DeMar DeRozan number 1, than Alex Caruso. And those are the two guys that we're saying should be Lakers, right?
Right, dude. And listen, with the Kobe, I'm leaning more on game one, but still how Kobe's playing.
I get what you're saying, like how he was moving, how he was attacking. Like Kobe White, he stood out to me because he got blocked late against Giannis. But, when guys are too timid in the playoffs and you're not playing your game, that's what throws everything off within the rhythm of the offense. And he wasn't doing that. He was at least attacking. He was moving. He didn't get a lane. Let me force the defense. He thought he could get one past Giannis. People do that, I guess.
I'm going to have to say this now. If the Bulls won because Chris Middleton's hurt, for anybody that doesn't know, he has MCL strain. It seems like a light one, but he's probably at least out for 2 weeks.
Woj reported 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you. Dude, what the hell if Lonzo was healthy? I mean, what the hell? I'm not saying the Bulls are going to win the title this year. That's not at all what I'm saying.
No. Like, I would just say really quick what you're going to say with, if you had Lonzo, imagine now you put Caruso on Giannis.
Yes, that's
then you would have had Lonzo Ball on Giannis. You would have 10 fouls between your two best defenders on their best guy.
Dude, and now we're in the catch-22.
Oh, I'm sorry, 12 fouls.
No, but now we're in the catch-22 with this offseason. Because it was like, all right, so we're gonna move Vooch, right? We're definitely gonna get him out of here. And we've been darkly in our minds thinking about the Zach situation, like, because now we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, like, we may be able to be a really good team when we make some moves, right? And the thing is this. You basically, first of all, you better hope Lonzo's knee situation isn't something that's going to be degenerative and long.
That's a little scary how long this is, like, this recovery. It reminds me, and I don't even want to put the kibosh, but like Luol Deng stuff back in the past. Like, what is going on?
Right. But again, I don't think this is the front office. I just think I don't think his knee is responding. I just don't think his knee is responding. I don't think it's a front office situation. I think them, and I think definitely Lonzo and his family. I'm not coming out there. I'm not right. But also the front office invested 4 years in him. So you're not going to blow away toss 3 seasons away. But you got to see now what this team can be healthy throughout the entire season. The problem with that is you may not be healthy through the entire season. Kind of what we always say about the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Or, what I'm saying, Utah and Denver. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you think you're going to be good.
Denver.
Right. You think you're going to be all right, but you may not be all right. So, like, that's the only issue. But, I mean, I'll say this. As bad as the second half of this Bulls season, majority of the second half of this Bulls season has been, that was a pleasure. This has been a pleasurable series so far as a Bulls fan. And unfortunately, because due to Chris Middleton being hurt, they can get out of here.
But what you were before you're going to say what you're going to say, they were throwing punches back and forth all the way through Chris Middleton being there. Like, I don't know if they could have won the game necessarily if Middleton played all the way through, but they could have won that game.
They could have definitely. No. See, I'm not even talking necessarily about that game. I do think because for a minute it was like the Bulls had their number, and then it was getting toward the end, and it got close again. Now, if Middleton was there, it could have been an issue, but I'm with you. Yes. The Bulls have played well enough that was the Bulls' game in hand for the most part. But the Bulls weren't going to get out of the series if Chris Middleton was healthy. I'm going to tell you that right now, in my opinion. And if he's out for the remainder of the series, they have a great chance that they can continue to play. Like, look, we've never seen Vooch have back-to-back games like this. Now, I'm not saying some of it isn't all good.
Especially the second game being that much better than the first. Usually it trails down. Like, he's trending up right now, it feels like.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, even though sometimes it's more than just the box score, because some of the plays with Vooch
he was strong defensively, just being a presence, getting a few blocks, but like, they gave up still the frustratingly large amount of layups and just open shots. Like that late one, it was around 56 seconds. Brook Lopez just dunks it with like no resistance whatsoever. Some of that stuff drives you nuts. But there was so many times that Vooch was playing big boy, like rebounding, defense. And he had that huge tap back too that got them that extra possession when they needed it.
Right.
One of two at least. Like, it was huge.
So do you got the Bulls winning the series now if Middleton's out?
If Middleton's out, we're talking something. I mean, the only thing is, like, I just think that, like, Milwaukee's going to be able to respond a little bit. What I liked especially about the game yesterday is they found this offensive formula, especially if DeMar DeRozan or Zach, one of them has to be, hitting from outside, like doing their thing. If both are off, then obviously they're screwed. But at least with one of them, you play that pick and roll. Milwaukee was struggling with that. And did you hear the DeMar DeRozan on Giannis when Giannis was the primary defender on him, that now DeMar DeRozan has the highest shooting percentage and success against Giannis?
No,
and then he was 9 of 10, I believe, or 8 of 9, one of those two, against Giannis whenever Giannis was the primary defender on him. And that's the worst Giannis has ever been.
I need to know what's the minimum of defensive possessions on a player.
I think they're just talking in a game specifically.
Okay, because that's just okay, I guess. But
yeah, it's nothing crazy, but just how DeMar was just rising up and being able to hit. Like, when you have that force, and then you can throw in Vooch, who can pass / shoot, it really opens it up. If they play defense like this, they got a shot.
I'll tell you this. I'm gonna take the Bulls to win if Chris Middleton doesn't come back.
I like it. I'm with you.
All right. And if I lose, if I'm wrong, whatever. But I'm gonna take the Bulls because I mean, I
think you can argue the Bulls are maybe the better team if Chris Middleton is taken out.
That was my thought when he was gone. I was like, wait, the Bulls better than y'all now. Like, it was like it's not even. It's like, and that's with Lonzo and Lonzo's and Chris Middleton. But that's what Lonzo being
just
out.
how the teams are built right now.
Right. So that was my thought yesterday when we were there. I was like, oh, I started looking at the Bulls roster. I was like, y'all know about y'all handling these boys.
That's what I thought too. I thought the exact same thing. MCL just done. When Budenholzer said that, I'm like, well, he's got to be done for the series, right? Like, this got to be like a 1% chance he could even play again. And
he just got fresh bread, right? So I think he may be in year 2 of a new deal or something like that. But he ain't been that long. May have been 2 years ago when he signed that contract, but he got because remember. Did him and Giannis both sign at the same time?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but he has I believe it's the same year or perhaps the year before, because Giannis signed before last season, right? Yeah, Giannis re-signed before this season. Was it before last year? No, it was before.
Chris Middleton is in year 3 of his current 5-year deal.
So it was 2 years. So yeah, so they got 2 more years of Chris Middleton being on the book. Because I'll tell you this is the last thing before we get out of here, right? Watching that game. And this before he got hurt. I was like, damn, they need to get up from under Chris Middleton's contract. Really. I was like, and for real, because I'm like, okay, Drew Holiday being a Swiss Army knife and just Drew Holiday is a low-key stud on both sides of the ball and just has huge cojones. But it's like Chris Middleton. Last year, he really showed up, but you know how Chris Middleton can be, and he still has value. And my thought was, y'all need to cash that chip right now because y'all not going to win another ring with these 3 set up. And you Holiday and Giannis are a good nice tandem. That you need a 3rd star, but I don't think Chris Middleton is the answer for that equation anymore.
Do you not think that there's something wrong with Drew Holiday? He's great defensively, but that missed layup at the end, like anytime he was shooting it, I was feeling real good about it.
Yeah,
that was a win possession for me.
He can definitely be off, but he also steps up in crucial situations at times too. But you're right. He's
always bringing it on defense for sure, and like elite defender.
I would still depending on what you would get. I would keep him. Let me put it like this. I would keep him over Chris Middleton if I had to make a decision. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. I would keep him. I think.
I'm with you 100%.
All right. Anything else you want us to talk about before we get out
of here? Well, we both think the Bulls are going to win. It's just starting with Friday. They win tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the UC is going to be rocking. UC is going to be UC is going to be rocking tomorrow. Like,
I was thinking,
now listen,
Madhouse on Madison.
Listen, Giannis better come out and punch the Bulls in their throats, not their face, their throats, if they want to win that game. Because if they sit there and they let the Bulls, and I'm not saying they won't be able to come back, but if they let the Bulls get confident and get the UC really rocking, now they may be able to quiet them with the run. But man, it hasn't been a playoff game in Chicago since the three alphas, right? That was the last time, right? The three alphas.
I believe so.
So yeah, no, man. I wish I had a ticket to that game, man. The UC is going to be rocking.
You got some press pass somewhere. Come on.
I don't report on the Bulls for NBC.
Oh, you gotta connect with a pass. Come on.
Wait, see me next year. See me next year. I gotta get my worth up. I gotta get my. You gotta bust your ass.
You talk to the man that does their commercials for the station.
Was he at the game? I mean,
maybe he's turning it down.
Maybe he will be. But I'm just saying, like, I don't have not yet, buddy.
We can't just like, hey, guy.
Not yet, buddy. Not yet. But
anyway, my dude.
Listen. I'll tell you something. Actually, I was supposed to get my NBC merch, which I haven't gotten yet, and but it was also supposed to come with some Bulls tickets. This was before the season was over, though. Right, so when the Bulls season ended, I say, "Well, I guess I'm gonna get. I guess I'll get to go to White Sox, maybe get to sit in the suite, maybe or something like that." But Dice, what happened? But
we'll wait a couple years when they're bad, then we'll give them to you.
Right, I could get tickets up to Yin Yang, man. Here you go.
Well, the suites are high right now for the Sox. You know that,
dude. So anyway, we always appreciate it, Ryan. In your travels, be safe, man. Get back safe. Enjoy yourself. Everybody definitely take care of yourself and be safe. We'll be back next week doing some Bears stuff, as we get closer to the draft. The Bears, we don't want to do a Bears segment here, so I want to dive into the Bears right here with Justin Fields having a kind of off day in day 3, last day of the mini camp today. But anyway, for Ryan and myself, we always appreciate it. Please don't do anything crazy.